live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. Wednesday, May 24th, going in depth on a number of topics tonight. Driving safety after a deadly crash on I-15 earlier today. That'll lead us off here in just a moment. But before we get there, let's take a look at what is making headlines tonight. People in West Bountiful mourning the tragic death of a 16-year-old girl who was celebrating the end of the school year. Madeline Morley died from her injuries after a rock pillar fell on her as she was at a party with her friends. Also making headlines tonight, a sentencing date has been set in the Lori Vallow Daybell case. Lori Vallow Daybell will appear in the Fremont County Courthouse, St. Anthony, Idaho, 9 a.m., July 31st, so we have some time. Daybell could serve multiple life sentences. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis throwing his hat into the ring for president. Some thought this might happen. Remember when he was here just about a month ago? The 44-year-old Republican revealed his decision today in a federal election commission filing. Finally, some really tough news, especially for lovers of the great music of Tina Turner. She sadly lost a battle with intestinal cancer. Her death was announced today, 83 years old. Turner became one of the best and most loved female rock singers in the 80s, and everybody knows her today. As we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us throughout the show. Use the hashtag 2NewsLive. Very easy to do. You can join the conversation. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Send us a direct message in any of those places to weigh in. Let's go in depth tonight, as we do every single night here on 2 News Live. Utah Department of Transportation rolling out their annual Zero Fatalities campaign, calling it back to the basics this time. What's referred to as the 100 Deadliest Days. It's right around the corner. A crash on I-15 this morning in Weber County resulted in 3 deaths. It happened just after 3 a.m. near Far West. According to Utah Highway Patrol, this photo is just terrible to look at. And it just came into our newsroom just about an hour or so ago. Traffic, as a result of this, was snarled in the area. A car hit a deer in the left lane, as we're told, and moved over slowly to the right lane. It's also believed the vehicle's lights were not on. That's when a semi-truck hit that car. The crash killed 3 people in the car's back seat, identified as the driver's grandparents and cousin. A total of 5 people were in that vehicle, all members of the same family. Just a devastating start to the day on our roads comes just hours before UDOT and DPS reminded drivers to go back to the basics. Drive responsibly, stay alert behind the wheel. This, as the 100 Deadliest Days, as it's coined, gets underway on Memorial Day weekend. Despite the deadly crash today, there has been a year-over-year decrease in fatalities on our roads up to this point.
We've had 90 fatalities so far this year. That's far too many, but it is much fewer than the 119 that we had last year at this time. Now, all of that said, I mean, you have a terrible tragedy like the one that happened on I-15 in northern Utah this morning, and it's just such a quick reminder that things can change just like that. And so we're pleading with people to really keep the focus on the roads when you're out there, and just do whatever you can to not only make sure that you get home safely, but watch out for other people as well. And I think if we can do that, we can commit to looking out for ourselves and looking out for everyone else on the road. That's going to cut down on fatalities right there.
Just looking through some of the information you provided with the top 4 leading causes of some of these crashes on Utah highways. Following too closely, failing to yield the right of way, driving too fast for conditions, making unsafe lane changes, / failing to keep the proper lane. All of these are preventable, right?
They're all preventable. And if you look at these behaviors that we're seeing, tailgating, speeding, improper lane change, they're the ones that are contributing to the most fatalities on our roads. And they're all related to aggressive driving, people not being patient, people putting their own needs above others and the safety of others.
What is the message for those summer months, really, where you see this traditional uptick? What is the message from UDOT and Department of Public Safety today?
It seems a little counterintuitive. A lot of people would think that the fatal crashes are happening during the winter months, but that's the time that people are white knuckling it. They're slowing down and driving for those conditions. They expect it to not be ideal circumstances out on the road. In the summer months, people are a little bit more carefree and they can become complacent. You're not dealing with winter weather conditions. You're usually able to drive at freeway speeds, and some people take it a little bit too far. So we really need people to focus on the basics of safe driving behaviors all year round.
Speaking of Utah Department of Transportation, let's use and abuse one of their cameras. This is what we do. We got to check out the traffic. This is Salt Lake City right now, I-15, near the North Temple area. So heading out of the city right now, perhaps you're heading up to Davis County after a long day at work here in the city. Well, looks like you have a decent drive right now. Of course, we've seen a number of crashes and such over the course of the day. This is the time where everybody gets out. Check out this video. There was a potential tornado discussion in Nevada earlier today. We're going to talk about this. Alan just shared this video with me a few minutes ago. Alan with AB Drilling, as he tells me, from Elko, sent this to us. He was on his way back from a job he was working, heading back to town, when this rotation in front of you here came across his path. He tells us it went approximately about a quarter of a mile or so less by him and near a ranch by Ruby Valley to kind of put things into perspective. He also said this came with marble to golf ball sized hail for about 15 minutes. Thank you, Alan, for sharing with us this wonderful video, because someone who's always very excited when there's all sorts of weather, whether it be sunny days or interesting extreme severe weather like this. Meteorologist Chase Thomason, what do you make of this here?
Okay, so this, in my mind, is a tornado. Okay, so the National Weather Service will go out, they'll do the survey, they'll officially call it a tornado. So what makes it a tornado? What makes it a funnel cloud? What you're seeing is the condensation cloud right here, or the funnel. What makes it a tornado if it comes all the way to the ground. And sometimes, and this actually happens pretty often, that condensation cloud doesn't come all the way to the ground. But from what Alan said and a couple other viewers, they could see a spin up on the ground. So if we have a spin up on the ground, we have that funnel, you're not seeing that condensation cloud come all the way to the ground. Basically, it's just water. It's still technically a tornado. So a pretty decent sized tornado, just about 20 miles east of Elko, right along the interstate or close to the interstate.
Obviously seems like this is not a common location for a tornado. What I've gathered, there haven't been warnings really in place for these sorts of things over the years.
There was a tornado warning though for this storm. So shout out to the National Weather Service for issuing that severe thunderstorm warning and then tornado warning. You could really see the velocity on radar. We've been posting those updates on Twitter. But yeah, definitely tornado. Looks like a tornado to me, but officially the National Weather Service will do their survey and let us know.
Well, as always, if you see weather like this, typically we see some land spouts here in Utah, some different types of rotation. But if you're in Nevada today, you were on I-80 near this area, this Halleck area, and you caught something cool on your camera, send it on into us. This is the first real good visual into our newsroom of this. We've seen a few photos too, so send them our way. Let's take a look at your forecast.
Okay, and again, another photo of this possible tornado, again, near Spring Creek. This is about 20 miles east of Nevada. Definitely, you can see that funnel coming out of that cloud, that wall cloud, really. Dark skies, reports of some very heavy rainfall, lightning, and hailstones with that storm. Here in Utah, we're tracking a few thunderstorms, nothing compared to what Nevada had earlier today. But those storm chances kind of hang around for the rest of the weekend, and we'll still be dealing with some warm temperatures staying above normal. And we got that Memorial Day weekend forecast for you. So let's first break down those storm chances. They're about 30%. In the valleys, a bit higher though in the mountains. So the storms go up in the mountains, and then later in the evening they've been drifting to the valleys. That will likely continue into Sunday, but it does look like maybe some drier air could be rolling into northern Utah next week. So here's your forecast. We'll have those thunderstorms bubbling up in the afternoon. Saturday and Sunday, upper 70s, so still warm. Wouldn't cancel any outdoor plans, but again, any late afternoon, evening plans, just be aware. Download the 2 News weather app. You can track those thunderstorms, your hour-by-hour forecast. Probably a good idea this holiday weekend. And right now on Monday, 81 is the forecast. There might be a couple stray mountain thunderstorms, though. Right now, some showers and storms have been developing across the southern end of the Wasatch Front, so there's a chance this will be lifting into the Salt Lake Valley. We'll have a little bit of lightning, brief heavy rainfall and some gusty winds. The cluster of storms over the northern end of the Wasatch Front kind of falling apart, but still some heavy rain up Logan Canyon and towards Bear Lake. So we'll keep these showers in the forecast through about 8 or 9 o'clock, falling apart after sunset. Dry weather again tomorrow morning. It's going to be mild. We'll have some sunshine and a few clouds. And then by the afternoon, widely scattered showers and storms over the mountains. And then a couple could drift into the valleys late afternoon or evening. And again, repeat on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Upper 70s and low 80s for highs along the Wasatch Front. We'll be in the mid to upper 70s through central Utah. But Moab and St. George and Page, Arizona are the warm spots with highs near 90 degrees. And St. George, you're going to hover near 90 for the rest of the week. Still a little windy. It was windy today. It's going to be windy tomorrow and on Friday. Hopefully less wind by the weekend. Still a little breezy at times Sunday and Monday. And then as we head into next week, we'll see highs near 90 degrees. But right now, St. George looks dry. Just keep your eyes on the sky in southern Utah. I know a lot of folks want to hit those slot canyons right now. Storm chances are looking low. Salt Lake, though, we still have storm chances through Sunday. Highs near 80. Next week could be a little bit warmer, Brian, by Tuesday and Wednesday, mid 80s. We had 10 days in a row in the 80s, and that trend is likely going to continue. We'll see if we can dip into the 70s for a couple days.
I don't notice the difference right now. It's all warm to me after the winter we've had.
It is. But you know what? We had those showers yesterday, and anytime you get a thunderstorm, it's going to cool things off. So we dropped 15, 20 degrees underneath that rain. So it can happen. These are just our high temperatures. But if you get rain, it could be a little bit cooler, so have that jacket handy just in case.
Thank you, Chase. Remember to download our 2 News weather app to know about changes in your neighborhood. You can get updated forecasts and live radar right at the palm of your hand. Grab your phone right now, scan that QR code, get yourself a new app, the 2 News weather app, which is free to download. This year's very wet weather in the winter months, and of course the spring has created flooding, other issues for some Utah farmers. We've talked about this a little bit, but despite the challenges that farmers will come through, have had dealt with, that they've really come through with fresh produce. We talked about onions. I remember our last conversation about this. But farmers markets are rolling out this time of year.
Finally, we love this time of year.
I do, yes. I love roaming around at Wheeler Farm in Murray. Just rolled out the market this weekend. It was great to see all the farmers there with their fresh produce.
Yeah, did you buy some?
No, because I didn't need any.
Okay.
But we know who's going to be there.
But you looked at it.
Well, I always look at it. We always look around. Well, we saw if we needed something. We didn't need anything in that moment, but we'll typically go there and get something at least once or twice a month when it comes to produce.
Yeah, so that one started already. The one in downtown Salt Lake City, which is the biggest farmers market in the entire state, which has farmers from all over Utah, that one starts on June 3rd. And so I went out to talk to a couple of farmers in the last couple of months to find out what they were growing. There were some growing delays on a lot of Utah farms this year because, of course, all the water. When it rained, all the snow melt, a lot of fields were flooded. So sweet corn, onions were all delayed in planting this year. So if you go to the farmers markets, expect possibly down the line some delays in that. But in the meantime, as they start to open up, there will be a lot of fresh produce, lettuces, radishes, what else? Green onions, probably soon. I saw some of those in the ground. Tomatoes in the next several weeks will start to ripen up and show up at the farmers market. So even though there were a lot of hardships on farms, radishes, those look good, don't they? Even though there were a lot of hardships on farms this year, you know, the farmers did their job and they're bringing out and harvesting whatever they were able to get in the ground. So there will be plenty to purchase.
Really want to shout out our friends in agriculture that work really through the conditions to bring us farm to table products like this. So really you can take advantage of this if you're watching this and you say, oh, maybe I'll skip the market, the grocery store, and I'll try the market for this. I want you to know they don't always have everything you're looking for, but what they do have is great and it's fresh. You probably should just give them a try because this is supporting local.
Exactly. And you know, they say when you support local and buy from local businesses, those dollars stay here in Utah. When you buy from the bigger stores, the money doesn't always stay here in the community. So that's an added benefit to buying from farmers markets.
Would like to think that our grocery stores over the years too have started to build those relationships with local farmers.
Oh, yeah.
You can see some of the signage in there. Hey, this is from parts of northern Utah, or hey, this is from parts of the Uinta Basin here where we're farming and stuff too. So It's that double-edged sword of maybe I forgot something at the grocery store.
Well, you
I should go to the
don't
farmer's
feel
market.
guilty because a lot of the farmers are stocking
Yes.
the grocery stores as well. So you can find their products really at the farmer's market, at the grocery store. They're all over.
Thank you, Christina.
All right.
Of course, we always want to hear from you at home with some inflated grocery prices. How likely are you to try shopping at farmers markets and even some roadside food stands? Scan the QR code right now on your screen to weigh in. The poll rolled out right around 4 o'clock. Looks like most of you are saying, I plan to go to more of them this year. Do I already have you beat? I've already been to one. Let's take a live look at our nation's capital tonight, where the debt ceiling, the southern border, and more continue to take precedent with our elected officials. If you missed it from last night, I had the opportunity to catch up with Congressman Blake Moore. Here's a part of our conversation you didn't hear. I asked him why it's been so hard for folks in D.C. to talk to each other, to come up with a plan regarding our nation's debt.
Our mandatory spending has grown so wildly enormous. Our debt now creates the interest payments on that debt in the range of nearing how much we spend on defense alone. So we have a massive problem. We have to be willing to figure out a way to address it and not just let it continue going on and on and on. But, you know, it's a lot of baggage from, you know, the last 25 years that kind of boils into where we are right now. And I'm very much in the position of, I'm here now. I've been frustrated with our debt and deficit for the last 15 years as I've watched from the sidelines. And I'm at a point now where I want to make a positive movement in the right direction. And then the next time I have a chance, and that will be late September, we make another positive movement in the right direction. And we use these opportunities to get us in a better spot.
We spoke about the U.S.-Mexico border, flooding in Utah, wildfire prevention, and more. We will likely talk about fire prevention tomorrow right here on 2 News Live. So join us then. You can always get that full part of our conversation if you missed it on our YouTube page. It is up there right now. Thanks so much for watching 2 News Live. Thanks for being a part of the program. You can always watch this back if you missed something or if you'd like to share it. We appreciate it. We're back with you tomorrow at 5:30 for more 2 News Live. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. We're back for Thursday's 2 News Live. Have a great night.